going to be open serving alcohol at noon. So that means that somebody goes in at noon, and by 3 o'clock they're pretty well toasted, and they're stumbling out, and the kids are going home from school. That's not a great thing either.
They can go across the street and buy alcohol at a chalan.
Yeah, but they're not going to be consuming it on premises and stumbling out of there.
They can go into any of the bars right on Washington, or the Deuce, or other places, and that are open at that time.
Across from my chalan, they have a bar, right?
There's very few bars open at noon.
What?
There's very few bars on Washington Avenue that are open at noon.
You know, I think there's one bar right on 16th Street between Drexel and Washington that is open at noon.
Well, there may be, but there's very few, and they don't have new dancing there that are going to be attractive.
If you walk down
Washington, you're going to go blind, so.
Yeah, the other attraction here is the show.
Yeah.
That's my only concern, and I, that was what I brought forward. If you wanted to start it after school,
I had one. I have another issue, and that is, I got a series of emails from people saying that the incidence of prostitution in the neighborhood of this facility was much higher than it is in the rest of the city, and I was curious whether that was true, because Leroy had come and said on the record that that the incidence of crime surrounding the building was no higher than anywhere else in the city. And so I'm wondering, from an administrative point of view, if we can have that checked out between first and second reading. Yeah.
I think if you look at the police mapping, where the problems existed were on Collins Avenue, of anywhere from the Lowe's Hotel going down to in front of the Alamac. That's where the big problem has existed, and that's why they did the mapping district in order to move them away. It had not been in that Washington area. Moreover, if you walk on if you start walking on 16th Street on Washington on the east side, and you walk down the street, you will see filthy sidewalks and derelict storefronts up until the point that you get to Club Madonna, at which point it's well lit, the streets are clean, and then you start all over again up until you get down to to Crowbar. So if there's a case to be made, it is that his establishment is the best maintained in the area. There is no hanging out in front of the place, and frankly, you can argue a lot of other points, but if there's one thing that Leroy does do is he maintains that establishment, and he maintains it well. And I have been inside. Unfortunately, I haven't been inside during the hours of operation. Every time he invites me over, the place is closed. They don't start till 9. But the place is well run. It's clean,
I'd just like
and
to
I don't
make sure
see the
that
problem.
the city statistics bear that out between first and second reading. That's all.
You can look.
Okay, we'll entertain any motions.
I make the motion.
All right, there's a motion by Cruz. Is there a second? Is there a second on this matter?
Where did Louis go?
Second by Steinberg.
Can I make one
this
comment?
This is an ordinance. If you'd like to, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just reminded by the planning director that I need to state for the record that we have been reviewing secondary effects studies from various organizations, including the National Obscenity Law Center, to assist us in our evaluation of the regulations.
Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second. Let's call the question, call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Smith.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer.
This is the worst vote I have to take. No.
Commissioner Cruz.
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia.
Yes.
Commissioner Gross.
No.
Mayor Dermer.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 against. The motion carries. The second reading and public hearing is scheduled for February 4th.
Okay, thank you, folks. Let us go now to the manager's evaluation.
R7K.
R7K, last item on the agenda, I believe. Unless you guys want to talk about CDT and baseball, or maybe you just don't want to even talk about that. All right, we won't talk about that. Not till not right now.
Let's wait to see what they do.
Let's talk about the manager. And the manager, I disseminated to you information that he had given me. I know that he's met with everybody, and He has discussed with you his salary, and I think that, as we have done in the past, it's appropriate probably to go down the line. If you would like to have a public discussion about the manager's performance over the last year, then I believe it's appropriate to do so. Commissioner Gross, we're talking about the manager's performance. I'll go down the line. That's what we've done in the past.
It's late. I'm going to be brief. I think the manager's doing a good job, and it's running a professional organization that sometimes has too much bureaucracy in it, but by and large is getting better results than I've seen a lot of previous administrations get. The capital improvements projects in the neighborhood are probably the most important thing that's going on, and they're moving slowly, but they are moving forward, and I think there's a good community process for them, and so I think that that's going to be very positive for most of our residents, since there are going to be things that are going to be done in their neighborhoods to improve their quality of life. I think he does a good job in getting out into the neighborhoods at a lot of the community forums, and he lives in the city, and generally I'm pleased with the work that he's doing. So I think he's tried to keep the commission, or me, more informed than maybe he did during the first year, and I think he's made improvements in that regard. You know, I think it's still possible to do more in that regard. I mean, keep the commission involved and keep the LTCs coming. You know, maybe there's some other paperwork we can try and streamline, but you know, the knowledge, when the commission has knowledge, it lets us respond to residents in the community who are asking us about things, and makes us more effective, and in many ways ultimately makes your job easier. So I would say keep working on that, but you're headed in the right direction. And you know, let's work to keep computerizing the city and investing in technology so that we can have things working on an integrated way, and maybe over time that'll allow us to reduce the size of our government a little bit and save some money for the taxpayers.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Well, George, this is my chance, right? No surprises. To be honest with you, George has been a very pleasant surprise for me. He's an earnest young man, dedicated. For me, for him to be part of the community is a big thing. I think that this is the first manager since Rob Parkins that actually lives within our community, and he chose. You know, you can see him at events, you can see him walking the streets, you can see him being part of the community. I think that's great. I think you are a very professional individual, and we have some difference. We have had some difference, and we will have some more in the future. I still think that the discussion we had before, as far as the safety of City Hall, I think we're in two different levels. With that said, I got some concerns. You know, not about you, but you are the man. You know, you're the city manager since I've been here that's had the most amount of power, and you have been very smart in utilizing it. You have used the power that we have given you. For the last 2 years, this commission has been laying back and letting you carry the ball. We have, with all the respect to the mayor, we have a very weak former mayor, which right now it shows. You know, it shows because we have been more worried about ethics and this and that than looking at the store. And you are the guy that manages the store for us. I think that Polly works. You know, this morning, and it was a fine example. I on my way to work, and there's a street closer. You know, in the middle of the rush hour traffic, you're closing 65th Street. Well, guess what? The street was supposed to be closed at 8 till 9 o'clock. It was closed at 8:30. Things like that happen. The condition of our roads is terrible. You know, we have, you know, if you are, I remember years ago we had a mayor in Miami that he used to call himself the potholes mayor, you know. But, you know, it worked. It worked, you know. Our roads are bad. Our streets are not as clean as they should be. Yeah, I made a little note right here of a few things, and it's not as long as Commissioner Steinberg's 41 clause, you know. But you know, we have thorn streets, you know, and they need to be fixed. There's no excuse for that. There's lack of cleanliness in the streets. To be honest with you, I have had a lot of complaints about prostitution on South Beach, and that's happening right now, and that needs to be addressed because that's a quality of life issue. As far as enforcement, code enforcement, when I go out there, the main complaint is the dysfunctional effort that code enforcement is put forth, especially in night inspections. You have merchants complaining that they're being supervised by 3 or 4 different departments and requiring different things, sometimes kind of contradictory. I think that if you were to cross-train the enforcement services, you know, it would go a great way. You have been very very receptive to my suggestions, you know, and again, I thank you for them. You know, prime example, you have a budget person now, which I've been calling for the last 4 years. You created the office of for public information down there, which again was my initiative, and you know, fire station someday will get built. I don't know when, you know, but and again, I think you are you're a great guy. You have a lot of potential, and you have been very, very smart as to use the power we have given you. With that said, I think it's up to the commission for us to take some of the reins back. You know, as far as your table organization, I think it's flattened a little bit. The one you showed to me is a little misleading because you have a whole bunch of departments going vertically where they should be horizontal. You know, so instead of being this wide, it's about this wide. I still think we're fat at the top, and I think we have some bureaucracy, and bureaucracy is bad. You know, we have to have a customer service type of attitude. With that said, I'm very happy. I'm very happy you're here with us. Truly, I think you're a good guy, and this will be for your clips, Mr. Clerk. You know, I say that he's a good guy. Okay.
Okay.
It's a private joke.
I got it.
You know, the clerk usually tells me that he's got these snippets every time I praise the manager. So I'm giving you a snippet right now for that. With that said, again, you know, we got work to do, and I'm going to be a thorn on your side like I've been all along, but I do it for the right reason.
Okay, Commissioner Smith.
I think there's always room for improvement, and obviously I share some of the disappointments that Saul and Louis have outlined, in particular some of the projects that have not gone as well as we expected. We all are very anxious to get those projects moving. But I'm going to be a lot more positive than perhaps Commissioner Garcia or others, because I've been here a while and I've seen other administrators throughout South Florida, and I've got to tell you that by just about every objective measure, I think that, George, you've done an outstanding job, whether it's maintaining fiscal discipline, the fiscal condition of the city is outstanding. You have been part of 2 ratings, increases in the bonds of the city. Property values in the city have doubled in the last 5 years through a lot of the measures that we have put in place. Public safety is number 1 in our minds, and I think you understand that, and it's for that reason that the police department was accredited. One of, 5% of police departments in the country are accredited, so I think that's a compliment to you and to the police department and really to the entire city. The fire department, I think, is the finest, best trained fire department in South Florida in terms of response time and competence and talent. The beach patrol, certainly outstanding. You have surrounded yourself with excellent administrators, professionals, very talented individuals. The CIP office, they've been complimented time and time again The Miami Beach Golf Course is a jewel that we have in the city. The North Beach Youth Center is about to be finished, North Shore Park.